Oh, hey, there we go. Are we back?
We're back.
Looks
Hey,
looks
we're back.
looks like things are back. You guys didn't miss too much. We are now in bargaining. It's a forest area. All we've done is basically just jump left for like 3 minutes, so you guys really have not missed much of anything. There was one tiny little cycle skip that I did that's kind of tight, but that's it. Not a big deal. We got a lot of time-based cycles here that we just want to make sure we are optimal on. But overall, this split of the game until we get our bargaining power-up is really, really consistent, and one of the easier sections of the game. And so the platforming is really forgiving in this game. Like, you can jump on things before they've actually appeared, and you can jump off of things like after they've disappeared. So we definitely take advantage of that like as much as possible in the run to hit some cycles that aren't meant to be hit. So this is our little buddy here. That's Macaroni. Macaroni likes apples. However, Macaroni can also be a little pain in the butt because Macaroni likes to eat apples when Macaroni feels like eating apples. Most of the time, Macaroni likes to eat apples immediately, a little greedy bugger. But every once in a while, he likes to evaluate whether there are worms in his apples, and he'll take his sweet little time, namely an extra second, to look at an apple before deciding to bite into it. And that's the last bit of RNG in the run, is apple RNG. That was scary. I went way too early. So if you watch Macaroni, cool. He went and ate his apple right away. That's great. And here we go. Last chance for some RNG. Nice. So we got good apple RNG, which is always a nice way to end the RNG sections of the run. And we have a happy little Macaroni. Oh, you may be wondering, why is his name Macaroni? Oh, I also like our timer. 31:11, 31:12, 13, in case Restreamer wants to fix that. That was a mistake. Ideally, we don't see that fall animation there or anywhere for the rest of the run. I screwed that movement slightly when I was trying to feed the timer information. So we named him Macaroni because of the song Yankee Doodle, where he stuck a feather in his cap and he called it macaroni. Our little buddy here has 4 feathers in his head, and I thought that was really macaroni of him, so that became his name. You're gonna see a little movement right there where I jumped ahead. We call that a zip. That works for similar reasons as insta-heavies, where GRIS gets her neck stuck in a horizontal object, and the game doesn't like that, so it just pushes her forward to get her neck out of that horizontal object. I mean, you wouldn't really like it if, you know, your head was getting cut off either, so, you know, it's pretty understandable. That's early. Oh, no, it worked. Cool. So we're gonna have to say goodbye to Macaroni for a minute or two. Again, jump into cutscenes. Okay, bye, buddy. Spoiler, we're gonna see Macaroni again really soon. So all of that movement, everything we just did for like the past 7 minutes, was literally all just map movement to get us to the place where we can get our stars and get our power up. So there are, obviously a couple of places where you can lose time there, but for the most part, we're literally just jumping left. And so that is one of the kind of downsides to the game being one giant map. But we get sections like this instead that are a lot more precise than they look like. Like, this looks like it's super easy platforming, but you can really easily lose 3 or 4 seconds in that section if you're not doing your jumps correctly. Hey, and there's Macaroni. It's holding out on us with that star, but gave it up in the end. Alright, props to Macaroni right there. Big helper, but not going to be seeing him again. So say your goodbyes to Macaroni. We're going to get one last new mechanic for this section over here on the left side for our second star. Going to be some red trees instead of green trees. And I suspect you guys are going to be able to figure out how red trees work. And in case you can't, they switch when we jump. Which probably for a casual player, not too big of a deal. But considering our bunny hopping ways, it is a bit of a pain to set that up properly, but not too bad. You can bunny hop through all of those sections right there, but it's just so risky. It's not worth the time save at all to screw it up and fall back down to the bottom. Nobody actually does it. Not even in ILs. Who's ready for a new power-up? Let me know if you're ready for a power-up. I'm ready for a new power-up. So now we're going to be able to double jump. And the double jump also allows us to kind of float. We also get introduced to those little red birds, which give us a big boost in whatever direction they're programmed to send us in. A lot of times it's straight up, but not always. So the double jump is the same speed as walking. So in normal movement, we're going to continue to try to single jump, but we're no longer going to be able to buffer our single jumps because we would just wind up doing double jumps instead. So our single jumps are going to be a little bit slower, but it's still faster than double jumping everywhere. However, on stairs, it's basically even whether you single jump or double jump upstairs. I find it more consistent to double jump, so that's what you'll be seeing me do on any sort of like full staircase. So you can't make that cycle, unfortunately. But making this one early, like we just did there, and then some very specific movement starting with that, is going to allow us to do double fast trees right here. So this is the first series. Casually, you would have to wait for that cycle right there. And then even if you do normal fast strats, you would have to wait for this cycle here. But if you're perfectly optimal, you can do double fast trees like that. The game's making sure that we understand how the red birds work here in this section. Say hi to Mom again. A lot of statues in this game. We're also, now that we have a double jump, we're going to be jump canceling a lot. Pretty much any instance like that where a red bird is going to send us vertical, we're going to want to cancel all of that vertical movement and transition it to horizontal. Jump into a cutscene. And now we have we're going to start our first boss fight. Or meet our first boss. It's not your traditional boss fight. I didn't mention earlier, but like in GRIS, there's no damage and there's no death. So boss fight can't actually kill you. It can just, you know, make you lose time. Not really sure why the bird is angry right now, but bird is definitely angry for some reason. Very angry bird. Just like Sandstorm, we can do heavies to not get blown back by the birds yelling. So we're gonna do a precise jump cancel right here. So that we just, so that movement in there, there's no fall animation, we don't get pushed out. Hard to describe what that actually looks like casually, but it doesn't look nearly that smooth. Just say that. I don't think you heard sticky keys, no. You just heard Angry Bird. So, I mentioned Skylar finding our Sandstorm skip earlier. He also found another trick called Bird Blow, which I'm going to try right here. Almost no one does this in runs except for me. Right, like that. Because it saves 3 seconds. But if you fail it, it loses either 7 or 10 seconds off of the casual strat, depending upon whether you failed it terribly or almost made it. So thankfully, we got it. It's pretty hard of a trick. It's very jank. It requires like standing on a certain pixel and then like jumping and double jumping in a certain way to make sure you properly trigger the bird, but then also get enough height so that you can then make it to that platform. It's very, very finicky of a trick, and so for saving 3 seconds versus losing 7 or 10, almost no one goes for it except for me in actual runs. So you can notice in the background, like I mentioned, how it's emotions of grief and we ebb and flow through them. You can see how the background is red again. So the bird and the background are all showing that while we were in bargaining, we also are still angry. And so this is the bird fight for real. We're gonna do a bunch of skips here. So I didn't want to get rolled up. I went a little bit early, but I did everything else correct there. Broke the pot, didn't get pushed backwards. All the things you're supposed to do. So this is fast kill there. Nope. Didn't get the quick birds up on the bell, but otherwise got the quick kill on the bird. Quote unquote kill. The quick trigger, I should say. And that was the bird fight. That was our first boss defeated. And we're also now done with the green section of the game. Like I mentioned before, look at how the statue is now like getting closer and closer to being complete. and we're moving on to the fourth emotion of grief, which is depression. It's exemplified by blue colors, by water, and by invisible blocks that have been revealed by the water and the rain. So we start this section off by doing a blind jump out of this water here, ideally. See if we can get it. Nice. So there we go. That is the fast glide out of the tower. And if you do your jump too early, you hit the wall inside of that tower, and if you're too late, you fall into the water. Both of those lose about 1.5 seconds versus getting the fast glide. So you can see that now these blocks that were invisible, we can now stand on them. Also, this is the beginning of the green section that you guys missed because the stream was down, but now you get to see it. Okay, so it saves about half a second if you get up onto that top path. That top path is the way towards one of the mementos. Haven't actually talked about mementos. There are 28 of them in the game. They're not collected in this run because this is any percent. But it's faster by about half a second to go partway on that memento path than on the any percent path. Also on the stream, timer is still wrong, in case anyone wants to fix that. We're at 45, 46, 45, 47, 48, 49, 50. But not a big deal. So this is going to be our introduction to movement in water. Now, movement in water is terrible. We want to spend as little time in the water as possible. It is incredibly slow to move in water. Basically just like real life. That sequence of bird jumps is very satisfying. I highly recommend all of you try it. We're going to deposit our stars here. I have a little announcement just to let you guys know. If anybody is experiencing depression, if you're going through a hard time, I know it can feel like you're alone out there and there's no one to talk to. I just want to let you guys know that the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, they are available 24/7 for you at 1-800-273-8255. If you're, not comfortable talking to someone, they also have online chat. Or if you want to talk to someone, closer, come into my stream, talk with me. I think we've all been there. We've all experienced that, and it'll get better. This is the underground section. This entire area, starting from right here, is one giant cycle that we're going to try to make down in what we call the ice cavern. The ice cavern works on 8-second cycles, and we should be able to make our normal fast cycle, even with kind of a number of mistakes. Okay, second try. That is the heavy dive skip. You're supposed to do a heavy on that block, and then it sends you in heavy form all the way down into the water, and that's super slow. Loses 5 seconds versus doing a heavy right on the edge, breaking the block, but not actually falling down. Obviously doing it second try, not optimal, but I think we're still moving at a pace where we're going to make the fast cycle at the ice cavern, as long as I don't do anything else too terrible. This section here, you have to do your heavy before you leave that platform. If you heavy after you've left the platform, then you're not going to have enough momentum to get through that water section. And you're going to float back to the top, and you're going to feel really sad, and you're going to have to do it again. Also, MQ in chat, man. I just want to let you know, man. It's okay. Shit will get better, man. I promise. Oh crap! I shouldn't have cursed. But I hope that emphasizes my point. This is the mushroom section. You do some momentum sliding there, and then a bunch of quick mushroom jumps and various skips to get out of the mushroom area as fast as possible. There's like 3 different skips that I just did in that section. We're gonna do some heavy pulleys also. Right like that. Real quick. And yeah, we should be fine to make the fast cycle. Exactly, Sloa. Anyway, it's not something that need to harp on, you know. Wanna be upbeat as much as we can with the marathon, but it's an important subject, and you know, if I can do anything to try to help, I'm going to. So here we go, some final heavies, and then we're gonna be in the ice cavern here. These 2 stars on the left and right side are the most puzzly things in the game, and I do use that lightly because they are not very puzzly. Especially this one. The one on the right is slightly puzzly. Yeah, we need to collect our iron boots. Is this OOT rando? It's Master Quest, actually. Considering no one ever plays Master Quest, they don't know what it actually looks like. So maybe it is. So right side here, slightly puzzly in what to do, but we're also gonna skip a ice cycle. We can leave our heavy early right here and still be able to jump on it. And that's going to give us enough time to make this cycle right here. If playing casually, you're going to be really frustrated that you don't make that cycle. And it is pretty tight in order to make. And that's the ice cavern. Now we've got our 2 stars. We're going to this little power-up station here. And all of a sudden, water movement went from being the worst thing in the game to being the best thing in the game. Water movement is now super fast because we can swim. We call it dive. So normal movement in swim is about 50% faster than single jumping. And if you use the dive, it's like 4 times faster. And then we're also going to parlay it with doing some heavies out of the water. I don't think I talked about the vertical speeds on things, but if you're free falling for more than 2 seconds, it's better to do the heavy versus just falling normally. But then there are a bunch of other places where you want to just fall normally because you can... Oh, Okay, we got that. I was very worried I was gonna have to do the swim of shame right there from missing that star, but we got it. No problem. Any place where you can fall but also move horizontally, it's going to be better to do that than to just do a heavy straight down. Something about that old formula of hypotenuses and a squared plus b squared equals c squared, that sort of thing. Math. Come on, please swim, Grease. Grease, thank you. Not really sure where she was swimming, but it was not where I wanted her to swim. This underwater section right here, this is the part of the game that gets skipped in the out of bounds run. We get our dive power up, and then we clip out of bounds using an iced version of ourself, and then we drop all the way down into the statue at the end of this section. But no glitches allowed. I feel like I shouldn't even be talking about it. Pretend I said nothing. This is the most popular category to run for the game anyway, so no, we don't need no stinking glitches. Plus, water movement is super fun. I don't know why anyone would want to skip this section of the game. Especially this upper left star right here. This is the water tower. I feel like the water tower is the bane of everyone's underwater movement experience. Because of that. There we go. Second try. Cool. Please, Grease. Thank you. Okay. So that wasn't terrible. Little issue on that second piece, but not too bad. Of a water tower. So that's a little skip right there in that cutscene as well. If you trigger it and then dive out of it at the appropriate time, then you're not going to have to wait for the turtle. Otherwise, the turtle will swim down, Grease will still be above, and the turtle will wait for you. And so that loses 3 seconds. It was a trick that we knew about for a long time, but there was no good setup, but one was found a couple of months ago. Also, you're not supposed to be able to heavy right there. This is a cutscene, but if you do your heavy right at the edge of the water, you're able to heavy into that cutscene. Saves another about 2 seconds. And we enter into the backside of our mother statue. We can see again, it's getting very whole. Look at how big that statue is. My, how you've grown. Yeah, maybe. Maybe heavying into the cutscene and the turtle thing. I don't know. Maybe those are glitches. They're borderline. They're really minor though. Come on now. They save 3 seconds and 2 seconds respectively. I left out the out of bounds clip. It's fine. So after this cutscene, 5 seconds is a lot in this game, actually, but every frame we can save is important. So we're about to start the second and final boss fight of the game. Oh, I know, Slow. I know you're giving me crap. You might think that the bird is coming back to fight us again, but oh no, the bird is a shapeshifter. See? Bird. Bird. Shapeshifter. Water snake. There isn't too much that goes on in this section. Whether we get bitten by the eel or don't get bitten by the eel doesn't make too much of a difference in terms of time. Like less than a second collectively. You just want to basically mash A in here and to keep doing dives as frequently as you can. That's about the entire strategy for the two sections of the eel fight. But it is separated by a tunnel, and tunnel movement is hard because it's like really dark. You basically just have to memorize the tunnel. The game is teasing us a little bit with the final section of the game, acceptance, and the yellow colors that we have, as we're starting to get into that phase of the game. But until then, you know, it's pretty dark still. Just gotta figure our way through the tunnel. Thankfully, it's not too bad. It's not too long. Almost over. And then we're going to come into the second half of the eel fight. And yes, the music is great. The music throughout the game is fantastic, but my favorite sound track is the eel fight. So shoutouts to Berlinist. They're the ones that did all of the music and the entire soundtrack for the game, and it's phenomenal. There's no text at all in the game, and so emotion is conveyed through the art and the audio and my singing. Turtle, 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 turtle saves the day again. Hello now, turtle. No glitches allowed in the runs, but glitches are allowed in the stream because it dropped for like 3 minutes by. Yo, and thank you for the turtle in the chat, JB. So now we're done with all the bosses in the game, and we're doing another backtrack with our stars to get back to the hub so that we can progress to the final area of the game. It's very serene and peaceful right now. Just some fun platforming in the dark. Relaxing dark, not scary dark. Secret entrances. This is intended. This is our YOLO jump right here. I did not do it. I had bad angle. So you can dive out of the water and go straight to the left side. It's pretty precise, and if you fail it, it saves 1 second, and if you fail it, you lose 15, having to do the whole thing over again. So, you know, YOLO. But man, the art is fantastic in this game. Oh, wow, that was too good of a water exit. I am way too far right now. Just pat myself on the back there a little bit for being too optimal. I can fix this. Alright, so now we're moving on to the final section of the game. Who's excited? There we go. That was easy enough. So I broke this pot that you guys didn't see because the stream was down like half an hour ago, and now we're using it. The acceptance section of the game is shown by the color yellow, and there are a lot of platforms and staircases that only show up with light. So we have to acquire light sources, like this little guy, in a bunch of places. So they will shine the way for us. That pot has a very tiny hitbox. The hitboxes on pots and birds and stars. Oh, that's really weird. Okay. Okay, that was some weird movement there, but it's fine. There's no consistency between the hitbox sizes of various objects that you interact with. So you do kind of have to learn the hitbox size of every single object to make sure that you know which ones you can cheese a little bit and which ones you have to be very precise on. So yeah, and so talking about the two bosses, the bird and the eel, more will be revealed about them at the end of this section. There is a cutscene that kind of relays more information to you about them, but basically, like, they're your own inner demons that you're struggling with. And as JB mentioned, you know, like, they can't actually hurt you, but they do scare you and they do chase you, and they do get in your way. And you just kind of have to fight them. That water square section is pretty tricky that I just did. It requires, like, maintaining your momentum out of the water. It's a little bit like Celeste and hyper dashing out of Dream Blocks. Not quite the same level of difficulty, but similar type of, you know, idea behind it. Yeah, I think we all kind of know that feeling. That's why that this game resonates so well, and that, you know, why those feelings are pretty universal. Like, we don't talk about it too much. Like, we all kind of internalize those feelings, but we all pretty much experience them at one point or another. So it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to think is wrong with you. It's perfectly normal. And talking to someone about it, like, it helps. It helps bringing it out to the open so that you can face it and tackle those issues, whatever they may be, whether they may be loss and grief from a loved one, or whether they're from bullying or weight acceptance or you know, awkwardness of your personality and lack of friends, whatever that reasoning is, like, I think we've all experienced it in one form or another at some point. We go upside down now in this part of the game. This is my favorite sequence in the game. It's so, when you do it properly, it is so satisfying. All of these sequences of upside down and right side up movement back and forth. Really fun. And we cap it off with this final move right there. Oh yeah. Yeah, feeling like a failure, imposter syndrome. I mean, those are things that everyone faces, and everyone internalizes them instead of talking about them as real things. The true meaning of the game is us. So this, I also think that the acceptance hub is a really neat part of the game because we actually get to do it twice. It's the only whoa, that was bad. It's the only part of the game where we go through the same areas both before and after we get our power up for the area. We just experience them in a little bit of different ways once we get our final power up versus how we're interacting with them currently. This section is also the hardest split in the game in terms of just the entire split itself. There is just constant movement throughout that is very precise, and it's by far the easiest area to just lose tons of time because of bad movement or little mistakes that just add up everywhere. There's nothing free in this section. Like that. A nice way to just lose a second. Here's a little cool trick. You're supposed to go all the way back down to trigger that yellow light, but we don't actually need to do that. We can stay upside down. Yeah, imposter syndrome is the feeling and that like, you know, you get promotions and you get praise for your work, but you feel like you're inadequate in what you're doing and that you're not actually an expert and that everyone else is wrong in thinking that you're good and know what you're doing. And I think that's something that pretty much everyone experiences. So we've gotten our final power up. This is our ability to sing. We've gotten our voice back, and we are going to use it to open up flowers. Because that's how awesome we are. And not just flowers, we're going to create spiders, flora and fauna. Say hello to Spider. We're only going to interact with Spider for like 30 seconds here, and then we're going to be gone. But Spider's pretty cool. All right, so there are rooms with major skips, not glitches, but major skips on both sides here, the right side and the left side. On the right side that we're coming up to right now is Bug Room, and Bug Room is meant to be done 2-cycled casually. There is a pretty easy trick to do 1 cycle, and that saves 10 seconds over 2-cycle casual. Then there is also a no cycle, which saves 25 seconds over casual, but is incredibly hard to do. It is pixel perfect single jump plus a 2 to 3 frame double jump afterwards. So I'm gonna try that for you guys right here. So that's 1 cycle. I'm gonna try it a couple of times. I have a little bit of extra time. Nope. So I walked too far off the ledge. The correct pixel for doing no cycle is actually a coyote jump. It's 1 frame off the edge. So I'm trying to go and hit it, and I'm going 1 frame too far, 1 pixel too far to the right. Maybe I think I'm left. Yeah, so I missed it left there by 1 pixel. I'm gonna try it a couple more times to see if I can hit it, since you know I gave myself a pretty wide berth on estimate, so I can do a few attempts before giving up and still be under estimate. Yeah, it's more than pixel perfect. It's a pixel perfect jump plus you know, a second jump that's not free. Nope, too far to the right again. It looks really cool though when I hit it, so stay tuned for that. There we go. That got it. There we go. That didn't take too long. That is no cycle right there. Or that was actually like 6 cycle, but yeah, can I get some hype for no cycle? I can't do it again even if I wanted to. There's no way to backtrack in this game. That is one of the downsides to it. If you miss something in the game, like, you can't go back for it at all. The way the saves work in this game and the way that terrain is set up, it's designed so that you can't backtrack. Do you know why? Because tackling your emotions and your grief, it's a forward journey. You're always moving forward. So this is a new route that I found not too long ago. Normally we would hit that first one and then go up the stairs, but I found that it was about a second faster to go up to that second flower, trigger it now, and go over the top. Because we're going to come back to that later, and then we're not going to have to trigger them again. And collectively, it saves about a second. Oh, and so I mentioned insta-heavies like forever ago. This is a free insta-heavy right here. The game stops you right on the edge, and so if you hold left and the heavy button at the same time, you get a free insta-heavy right there. Sloa, it says so many things with no words. No text in this game whatsoever. But I agree, it does say so much without having to say anything. Wait, why did I do this? Okay, that was dumb. I'm lost for no reason, but it's fine. Alright, so we're coming up on now the flower room. So the flower room also has a giant skip where you don't have to go upside down if you do it correctly. And as opposed to the bug room no cycle skip, which is incredibly hard, the flower room skip is incredibly easy. So we're gonna do it right here. And all you have to do is mash. That's it. That was the skip. And we've collected all of the stars now. The end of acceptance is the only section The end of acceptance is the only section of the game where we don't return to the original hub. We have a different area that we're going to return to. And Elsewhere, I skipped going upside down. There were 3 flower pods that so you're supposed to hit the red birds, travel all the way upside down, and then sing and open up the 3 flowers upside down, and then use those to then trigger the 2 right side up remaining flowers and reach the exit. So we bypassed the entire upside down half of the puzzle. So yeah, so the fact that you can't backtrack at all in the game, right? So your journey is always moving forward, even if you're going between all the different emotions. So right, so the emotions is not stages. Your journey of grief is not stages, but emotions, and you travel back and forth between those. But the journey itself is always forward. See, and now these are all of the stars that we've collected, and we're gonna sing up into the heavens. Yeah, there's just so much detail in terms of the narrative that's told in non-narrative means for this game. There's still about 7 minutes left, Sloa, on time. So we did finish Yellow, which is the last main section of the game, but we do have 2 little ending sections, Black and Lilac, that we have to go through. I will definitely give you plenty of lead here. So, obviously, so we've completed our journey, right? The statue of our mother, and we went to the heavens, we've collected all of the stars, and the statue is complete, but journeys just aren't that easy, like just before the dawn is when it's darkest, right? That's how the saying goes. And this game and this journey is no different. Hey, Barbados. And so this is what JB and I were talking about earlier in terms of being able to see how, the bosses, the bird, the eel, are actually just you, right? That's shown right now. And everything falls apart right at the end. We get consumed by ourselves with all of our emotions. The statue, look, it broke apart. It's in little pieces. Will we be able to put it back together? I do wish we retained our ability to dive in this section. It would make it less tedious, but so be it. This is our slow swim up to our surface. We'll just, here we go. Sing to our mother's coffin right there. It's not actually needed for any percent, but it feels like a nice thing to do for her. Give her a quick little sing. Got some flowers for her coffin and her grave. We have to climb all of the broken pieces. in order to put it all back together. Once again, into the hand. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything, guys. Please just enjoy the ending to this game. I hope you guys had some tissues or something to get the crying out right there. So we got about a minute left in the run. We're just all of these stars that we collected throughout the game. We're going to climb those. We've been let go from the grief of our mother. Okay, time is coming up. And time is right now. That's 1:27:19 is the actual time there, not 58:37. I did not world record by 25 minutes. So yeah, so that was GRIS. I hope you guys all really enjoyed the game. If you're interested in speedrunning it, the Discord is linked from the speedrun.com page. It's super active community, really welcoming, wholesome game, chill speedrun. I speedrun it very frequently. You can, if you're interested in hanging out with me and learning more about the game with my streams, I'm Tasselfoot. Give me a follow, something like that would be cool. And thank you for tuning in. Coming up next, we got a Pokemon block. So I think it's kicking it off with Gen 1, Pokemon Yellow. You guys are definitely going to want to hang around, stay for that. Once again, I'm Tasselfoot signing off.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that kind of broke the mood, didn't it? But what's going on here? That was GRIS. 90% OoB by Tasselfoot. If you guys would like to give him a follow, I did put the link into the description. Yes, this is a YouTube video. It is in the chat, so make sure to give him a follow. He did a fantastic job, spite through everything. I apologize for the whole the problems with my OBS. I had to restart my computer. I should be good now. Shouldn't be any problems from here. But that was definitely a feel straight in the end. I definitely didn't expect to cry there. I don't know. I'm just a giant crybaby too, though. But up next we have Pokemon Yellow, something a little more cheerful, hopefully. So we're gonna put some music on and get that right out for you guys.
Nintendo.